Good evening, everyone, and welcome to News Now, part of Fox10Phoenix.com. My name is Pilar Arias, going to be with you here tonight. Excuse me really quickly. Squawk box is going off. They're going to be with you tonight for the Arizona special election coverage. It's for Congressional District 8. We have Republican Debbie Lesko versus Democrat Hiral Tipirneni. So we're going to have coverage for you all night here. On the top right-hand side of the screen, you are taking a look at some video from earlier today where they were doing some ballot counts. I want to show that to you all here now. Take a look at this. Steve Kraft, and photojournalist, got it earlier today. An inside look at how the ballots are counted. We should be getting some early election results by around 8 o'clock Arizona time. It's currently just past 5 p.m. here, so a few hours from now. I also want to show you a tweet that Steve Kraft sent out earlier because he is the reporter covering it. Take a look here. It says, "I am on Facebook Live right now. We are seeing ballots being counted for special election to replace Representative Trent Franks in the U.S. House. Hashtag Fox10 Phoenix." Right here is where that tweet was. He actually spoke with the Maricopa County recorder earlier. Let's take a listen to that.
All right, I'm Adrian Fontes, and I'm the Maricopa County recorder.
And these are the ones that you
And I run the recording office and the elections department for Maricopa County, which is the third largest voting district in the United States of America.
Okay, now tell us a little bit about what we have going on here. What have all these folks been doing today?
Well, today we are having the special general election to replace former Congressman Trent Franks in the 8th Congressional District, which is one of the 5 congressional districts that are completely inside of Maricopa County. And so we're running the entire election in this one county. And so we start with about 456,000 voters. Maricopa County and Arizona have a very healthy early voting system. A lot of folks are on the permanent early vote list, and so they get their ballot in the mail. Our early voting, as robust as it is, has to get taken care of before Election Day. And so what you're seeing right now are the counting of the ballots that had come in and the signature verification that had already been done on these. So this is the last of the ballots that came in early are being counted now on Election Day. Those numbers will be released at 8 p.m. tonight, pursuant to statute, and we will be getting the rest of the numbers in from Election Day as the evening goes on and probably into tomorrow.
Can you share with folks roughly how many of these ballots came in early?
I think we were at 157,000. Can somebody help me with that one? I think that's about right. And yeah, so we're expecting another big chunk today. Some estimates are going from 20 or 30 up to 50,000 more. We're really not sure. We just hope that we get a really robust participation from folks.
Is there a breakdown you can give us as to how many Republican ballots came in, how many Democratic ballots came in?
I don't have those numbers with me right now, and we probably won't be releasing any of that until later, although we may have some of that information that the Secretary of State's office is putting out. We work closely in conjunction with them to make sure that we've got, these other offices overseeing what each other is doing to maintain the integrity of the system. So they might have that data.
Okay, now tell folks how long they can, I know this isn't exactly your purview, but the polls are open until 7 o'clock?
Polls are open until 7 p.m. today, so if you're there and in line by 7 p.m. and you've got your proper ID, obviously you'll be able to vote. We don't anticipate any real long lines this evening. In fact, we don't anticipate many long lines at all. We've got 55 polling locations at precincts set up all over the district for 143 of the precincts in CD8. So we've got pretty good results so far. We've got some pretty robust voting in some of our precincts. Up until about 2 p.m. have been doing much better than they did during the special primary the whole day. So the turnout's pretty good.
That's good. And so folks should also know that this seat will be contested again in a few short months.
Yes. Arizona law requires a special election to occur for congressional openings, and that's in the House of Representatives, within a certain time before the election. So this opening occurred back in December. We have the special primary in February. This is the special general. The person who wins this election will end up serving out the remainder of the current term in that congressional 8 seat.
And then we have another election, of course, in November.
Right. We have our typical general elections. The primary is going to be in August, as usual, and the general election then will be in November.
Anything you want to say to folks in CD8? Now we're talking about the Northwest Valley,
right?
Primarily.
Right. Well, thanks for voting. If you have, and if you need any information, Maricopa.vote is the place to get that. You can find out what sorts of ID you need to come and check in at the polls with. You can find out where your polling location is, and you can find out all kinds of other information about whether or not you registered on time for this election, and so on and so forth. We've had a lot of inquiries about folks who are, wondering where their ballot is and things like that, and some folks just aren't inside of the district. And the district is inside of sort of an urban area. There's a lot of cities in the district, so sometimes part of a city is and part of a city isn't in the district. So that can be a little confusing for voters, but that's okay. We want folks to call us and ask us. We're happy to take those calls.
Can you go on a website, type in your address, and find out if you're in the district?
Absolutely.
What is that?
That's Maricopa.vote/locations. Is that right? I think that's the one. But you can get there from Maricopa.vote for sure, and you can find out all kinds of information there.
The internet is great.
Well, the internet's great because,
when it works.
The world of information.
It doesn't get hacked or some weird thing.
Well, we've taken a lot of precautions in that regard as well. We've locked down our systems pretty solidly, and even our in-person security is pretty good. With our new Sitebook check-in system, when folks actually go to check in at the Sitebook, they have to get their ID checked by one of the poll workers, and in real time, the poll worker scans their own ID as well. So we know who's checking in, who is checking that person in real time. So we've got a really solid set of secure accountability that's happening right now that we've never had before in Maricopa County. We're very, very confident in that part of our system.
And I should point out that we're in a secured area as well. We're not actually anywhere in proximity to where they're counting the ballots. They were separated by a glass wall, basically.
That's right. You had to come in through and sign in through security. This is a facility that actually has armed guards while we have live ballots in the facility. The ballot tabulation center, as you can see, is behind the glass wall. There's a couple of doors that you got to get through, and the only way to get through is if you have the right sort of security to get in there. And so we take this very seriously, and as you can see over on the backside, those boxes over there are some of the other ballots that we've already counted, and there's pallets full of those ballot stacks. So it's important that we keep everything secure and in one central location so that once the election's over, we do the hand audit, and then we ship all of the ballots over to the treasurer's vault, and the Maricopa County treasurer then keeps them for the statutory period.
How soon after 8 o'clock will you be able to count all the ballots?
Well, counting all of the ballots...
enough so that we'll be able to have some idea as to who won.
Well, I leave the prognosticating to the folks out there who are doing that stuff. We want to make sure we get it right. And so what ends up happening is each of the precincts is going to have had their tabulator. Those bits of data will come together in hubs and then get transmitted back here. All of the rest of the ballots, of course, including those that were voted on site, will be back here at the warehouse so we can do all the signature verification and then run them through these tabulators as well. With any luck, we'll be done relatively soon, and I'm hoping that by midday Thursday we'll have final results. I've got my fingers crossed on that. We'll see what happens.
And precincts. How many precincts in this district?
This district has 143 total precincts, and we've got 55 voting locations for today's special
Lots of places to vote.
Oh, there's lots of places to vote. In fact, most of the places that have co-located precincts have had co-located precincts in the past. So a lot of voters really are still voting in the same places they're used to, with some changes, of course.
You have to vote in the precinct closest to your home, or can you vote in any precinct?
Right. That's still part of the rules here. But the important thing is that folks understand these rules, and so that's why we're driving folks to that website, Maricopa.vote. If you're watching online, like on the phone here or on TV, this is an important part of our process that the voters are informed as well. So we put as much of that information out there as possible. In fact, every single voter in this election, in any election, gets the same sort of treatment. If you're on the permanent early vote list, you get your ballot in the mail with instructions. But if you're not, and you got to go to a polling place, we'll send you a sample ballot with instructions about where to go and when to vote. And so it doesn't matter what kind of voting style you're part of, you're going to get information from us in the mail no matter what, because we want to make sure that you're engaged in this election.
If folks speak Spanish more comfortably than English, are there also instructions in Spanish?
Absolutely. Our citizens get a choice of the way that they get to interact with us, and so we've got instructions in Spanish and English, not only on our site books, but we try to get Spanish-speaking poll workers out there. Sometimes they speak a little better Spanish than others, but we're trying to accommodate folks. As a matter of fact, we've even got accommodations for folks with disabilities. We took care of one particular voter today who couldn't vote in the last couple of cycles. She has an allergy to ink, and it's a deadly allergy. In fact, she kind of has a bubble of her house. And so we administered her ballot with her personally through a special election board because she couldn't actually touch the paper. We had folks of differing political parties go out, and under federal law, we can do this. They administered the ballot, sealed it up in an envelope, brought it back over here, and handed it over to the election department. These are folks who are trained to do this, and under statute, we could even help that voter as well. So we're really trying everything we can to engage the voters and enfranchise the voters, because guess what? This republic and the democracy that runs it is yours, and that's how we want to make it happen.
In a very brief 15 or 20 seconds, what is your message in Spanish?
En español lo que le puedo decir a toda la gente es que su voto es su voz. El poder del único es manifestado por el voto. Entonces, regístrese por tiempo, infórmese por el sitio web maricopa.voto. Ahí pueden encontrar las ubicaciones de donde pueden votar y así adelante con su ciudadanía.
All right, everybody. So here's what it looks like if you were to go to maricopa.vote. And there's Adrian Fontes right there on the top left. This is exactly what the website looks like. Remember, the polls are open until 7 p.m. tonight, and there's tons of helpful information here on the website, including where do I vote, and then how do I request an early ballot, which of course does not apply anymore to tonight. But for the next election, you can make sure that you know how things are done. Right here, get a digital voter ID. I am a registered voter here in Arizona, and I know yesterday that I got an email saying, hey, we had some issues getting out those voter registration ID cards. If you didn't happen to get yours on time and you're voting in the special election, remember, you must live in Congressional District 8 here in Arizona, which is the northwest side of the valley, pretty close to Surprise and surrounding areas. They said, hey, you can get a digital voter ID and come on out, still cast your vote. So that was pretty cool. It's a little different, at least for me, because I have not voted here in Arizona in quite a while, actually. So, of course, this live Facebook stream tonight dedicated to the special election, but we are News Now, right? And anytime news breaks or happens, we will bring it to you here live. So again, of course, if any other events happen this evening, we will bring them to you. I know